for us. Onorato and Miller here on a Wednesday night. If you're joining us live across News Channel 13 social media, Facebook, YouTube, and X, it's Chris. It's Ash. We're reacting to the NFL draft. Yeah, a week later, everybody's still talking about it for sure. NBA, Stanley Cup playoffs into the second round.
Good time.
Major League Baseball into the month of May. FireWolves into the semifinal round of the National Lacrosse League playoffs. I mean, it is a loaded show. We'll be joined by defenseman John Wagner here on this week's show as well. What else am I forgetting, Ash?
We got the Firebirds playing.
We do.
Arena football back in town.
Yep.
Random Thursday night.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Albany House.
All right, here we go. Wednesday show. If you're watching us on TV, Saturday nights on My 4, Sunday mornings on News Channel 13. Thanks for finding us there as well. We roll call early here. Sam is right on
Sam
it.
found us.
As always. Yes, Sam, thanks for catching us a night early, buddy. Always good to have you on. Sam's Mets are over 500. Sam's Jets have a lot to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine Sam's looking forward to the Kentucky Derby, as many of us are. We'll talk a little bit about a couple of the favorites in the 150th Kentucky Derby on Saturday.
Big round number.
Todd Pletcher has the favorite on the morning line, and Chad Brown not too far behind him. All right, let's do the one big takeaway here. One big takeaway from the NFL draft is what, Ash?
Well, listen, for me, I missed when you asked me the under/over. You put the under over at 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
I said under. It was over in the first 12 picks of the draft. Not even close. But the funny thing, for me, it's too much. It's become too much because this isn't just like making smart moves to get your quarterback of the future. This is teams selling out to pick 6 quarterbacks in the top 12 picks of the NFL draft. And you know how many won't work out.
More than half.
At least 3 will not work out.
Mm-hmm.
And I laughed because the total number of picks in the NFL draft, 257. Now, total quarterbacks selected, only 11. So 6 of the first 12, and then only 5 the rest of the way, which just kind of tells you how crazy it is for teams who are trading their way, pushing their way up to the top to draft guys who realistically probably aren't first-round guys, but it's such an overreaction. It's such a sellout to get some of these guys at the top.
Williams, Daniels, May all went in the order expected, and then the Falcons shocked everybody with Michael Penix Jr. McCarthy went where we thought he would go, and then I think Sean Payton believes he can make any quarterback a Pro Bowl quarterback, and everybody's drawing the comparisons from Drew Brees to Bo Nix. Oh, okay, relax, everybody, right? Like Drew Brees was a second-round pick. He certainly over-delivered on his NFL career. We've seen nothing from Bo Nix yet. Some attributes. Okay, everybody wants to make a comparison. It's very popular to do, so they do it fine. But like, let's just hang on here.
Yeah.
Who the heck is Bo Nix throwing to in Denver? Okay.
Cortland?
Yeah, I mean, Judy isn't there anymore. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, you're right. This isn't new this year.
No.
People who are reacting like, oh my gosh,
this is the worst it's ever been.
It feels like
or most extreme it's
usually
ever
what
been.
you get is teams trading back into the end of the first round to get somebody who doesn't belong to be taken in the first. Anyway, I don't know. My biggest takeaway: Eagles are the NFC team to beat. Now, they were already building with what they had done in the offseason by signing Saquon Barkley, by bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They have to remake that offensive line, which they've done. We just have to see whether or not it's going to gel. They just added Mekhi Becton. Can they make that work? Can Lane Johnson, 34 years old, stay healthy at one of the tackle positions? The O-line is the only concern for me, and it was the secondary as well. But when you use your first 2 picks to address the secondary with arguably,
and they got lucky,
maybe the 2 best guys, like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I mean,
they got really lucky. I mean, and sometimes that has to happen. But I would argue, you remember the run where it was like, oh, the mini Bulldogs. They went on that run where they drafted every Georgia guy that they could find. They have drafted so incredibly well the last 3 years.
Yep.
And some of it's luck, but some of it is putting yourself in a good position and knowing what you want and going to get it. And they made moves. They went out and got AJ Brown. That wasn't a draft. That was a trade. So they've done what they needed to do to get good. And despite retirements on the line, they're still going to be a really, really good team and your favorite to win the NFC.
So in Vegas, they're the third favorite right now. The Niners are the favorite to win the NFC.
Maybe you should put a little money on
I
it.
probably will. Philly is plus.
And I'm going to have to root against them.
Plus 650. I just like to have some action here and there. I don't ever end up rooting for these things because I'll be rooting for Green Bay, obviously.
Right.
The Packers, I think, did okay in the draft. So, yeah. What's the takeaway on the Giants, Jets, Bills here for our local folks? Are you happy with what the Giants did, even if we just look at what they did at 6?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we've talked about you weren't going to get the quarterback you wanted at 6, so why waste it on a quarterback that they didn't do what some other teams did, which I think was maybe reach on a JJ McCarthy or a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix.
3 of these guys, Penix, McCarthy, Nix, all went.
And I like Penix a lot, but if you're not ready to declare him the quarterback of the future, then I don't think you can waste a pick on him as high as 6. They've already done that once when they went up to 6 to get Daniel Jones, and they don't love him as their quarterback of the future. But my argument is you have to make a significant consequential pick with the 6th overall pick or get the heck out of there and get picks in return for it. They made what they thought was their biggest need pick at 6, and they got who they thought was the best receiver available.
Yeah, and he may be the most dynamic receiver. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. seems like just
he's pro ready,
big, prototypical NFL receiver, steady guy. Neighbors will wow you with some of the measurables.
Speed,
yeah. And can Jones get him the ball down the field? I don't know. Look, the Giants aren't going to be good I say they're not going to be good this year. Maybe they will be. I don't know.
But now
nobody thought they'd be good 2 years ago, and they made the playoffs.
Right. Like you have this money invested in Daniel Jones, give him a weapon. And if he surprises you, great. If he doesn't, you're about where you thought you were going to be at the end of next year, which is, I don't believe he has any more money on the books that they have to pay him, more guaranteed money.
Yep.
So if you are in a position where you are moving on from Daniel Jones, that is the position that most people thought you would be in. And I think that maybe that's the position, but maybe you give Daniel Jones Malik Neighbors and he starts lighting the world on fire. And if that's the case, that's a benefit. That's just a bonus.
Sam's happy his Jets went lineman. Yeah, they obviously they need
protect that Achilles.
Protect Aaron Rodgers as much as possible. And they've got the skill position guys seem so well positioned, I'll say, that you add Mike Williams, you hope you get something out of him. You still obviously you have Garrett Wilson, who is a stud.
Yeah.
Breece Hall. They've drafted and developed well at some of those skill positions that, yes, you need to solidify up front for Aaron Rodgers in order to be successful. We'll see.
Who's their backup?
Quarterback?
Yeah.
The number one rule in anything TV or radio is never ask a question you don't know.
Well, it's not Zach Wilson.
No, it's not.
So, but my concern is they're going to need somebody in case that Achilles doesn't hold up.
There's somebody
maybe
there.
They'll figure that out.
Commercial break if Sam doesn't know off the top of his head. Broncos have said they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option on Zach Wilson. Cowboys have said they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option on Trey Lance. Interesting.
Some good backups.
Interesting
out there.
draft.
I don't know how good, but be some backups out there. Tyrod. I love Tyrod.
I know. He's a proven
backup,
quality, winning backup quarterback. Let's just play this one for fun here. The one guy on this list who will have the shortest NFL career.
This is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to go with history here and say Drake May. Because I think the others will stick around long enough. I think Drake May will be enough of a disappointment at a high pick that he won't survive as long as the rest.
By the way, you can't find these anywhere in the jug size. So I don't want to burn through a bottle of these every time I feel like drinking some diet green tea. Can't find the jug anywhere that's diet.
What's the difference between a jug and a bottle if you're just going to drink however much liquid you feel quenches your thirst? There's no, other than the environmental impact of however much plastic you might be using.
It's recyclable.
I know. So what's the difference?
I don't know, but
why do you dislike the little bottles so much?
I like to be able to pour it into a glass or into my reusable mug of some sort instead of carrying that thing around everywhere I go. All right, so you go Drake May.
You go jug over bottle.
There are a few guys on here I just don't believe in. Yeah. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to set the world on fire, although I do like what the Bears have done from a receiver standpoint. Yep. DJ Moore, they drafted Rome Odunze, they added Keenan Allen. They are doing what you would love to see them do to try to help the number 1 overall pick. Williams
I wanted to see them do that to help Justin Fields and see what it turned into, because you could have drafted someone else with the number 1 overall pick.
Jaden Daniels has to scare you a little bit.
He does. The comps
are
to who? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Most of his comps are to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson scares everyone whether or not he's having a good season, because he can do so much with his feet and he can throw the ball.
And I don't see JJ McCarthy as an NFL quarterback. Maybe I'm wildly wrong on that one.
There's nobody who can run the ball as well as Michigan could run the ball last. You know what I mean? No one that relied on the run as much as Michigan did last year. There is not an NFL team that is going to give the rock to their running back 30 times a game. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. No, I know.
You're going to rely on him to throw a lot more than he did.
All right, quick timeout here on Onorato and Miller. We're back in a minute. We've still got our Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult done to do. Yes, it is May 1st. If you're watching us live on a Wednesday night, we will do the April MVP of the month, sponsored by Marcella's Appliance Center. Back in a minute.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. Whether you're cruising with the family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhausboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
And a shout out to all those local business partners with us: Alpen House, Marcella's, Performance Industrial, Novice, Saratoga Casino, and Bevs. I don't think I forgot anybody in there. That graphic is up not long enough for me to really, I know it, but sometimes you don't know it. You know what I mean? You start listing. It's never a good idea to list people in acceptance speeches or even in company-wide emails, because you will undoubtedly forget something. Just don't do it. Just don't. It's nice to individually recognize people. Do it face to face.
We've got, don't ask a question you don't know the answer to.
Good rule. It's a golden rule.
Do not list people.
You will forget someone.
You'll always forget.
Yes. You will regret it. They will make you feel guilty for not remembering.
I wouldn't make anyone feel guilty.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. Sam wants to weigh in on his April MVP. He says Jalen Brunson. We'll get to that in a moment. Maybe Sam's right. This one, though, interests me more than who we're going to claim as MVP of the month. Mm-hmm. Are the Lakers headed for life after LeBron? LeBron can opt out of his contract, and LeBron will opt out of his contract. Sure. It's whether or not he re-signs in LA. Answer that for me first, and then I've got a couple more for you.
I'm going to say no, that he re-signs.
Okay.
What he's not going to do is play with his son.
Why not?
Who's drafting him?
Why wouldn't that be part of LeBron's negotiation?
I get it.
I'll resign. You have to draft Bronny.
You have to blow a draft pick on a kid that has no business playing in the NBA. No business playing in the NBA. That kid is a 4-year college player, maybe not even at the level he's currently at.
Whoa. Okay.
No business.
All right. If you're the Lakers and LeBron said that to you, I'll only resign if you draft Bronny, would you do it?
No.
Okay.
But if I'm someone else, I would. If I'm some poor team that is like, I can get LeBron James if I just have to draft Bronny, great. Lakers,
I don't think the Lakers are headed for life without LeBron. I think LeBron realizes he is more valuable as a commodity,
correct,
not a human, as a commodity when he's in LA or New York and he's not going to the Knicks. And Brooklyn stinks. So he'll stay with the Lakers. But I do believe there will be a little bit of the mandate that says, I am only re-signing if you commit to drafting Bronny. Now, that gets dicey because
it's only
LA, he's going to be a second-round pick. So then you get worried, are we going to miss our chance to draft him, or is he not draftable? I don't know. But I think LeBron, as he has in the past, he has played general manager everywhere he's gone but Miami.
Yep.
He didn't have that power because he got Pat Riley and Dwayne Wade running the show there. LeBron, that was not his team.
Yeah.
It has been his team in Cleveland, and it has been his team in LA. And his GM decisions have
not been great.
Occasionally worked out. He's gotten a ring everywhere he's been, but they generally are short-term fixes with long-term negative impacts. And that's what we're seeing of the Lakers here now. They won in the bubble in 2020. Yes, they got to the conference finals last year, but were swept by the Nuggets. The postseason has not been a real success story for the Lakers with LeBron there. But I think if you're the Lakers, you are fearful of not having a marketable superstar. He is the marketable superstar.
Yeah.
To not have him on your team until he retires. Now, I would also look at it this way. This is a franchise that has survived the departures of Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar, Magic, Shaq, Kobe. I could go on and on and on. This is a franchise that has had absolute star, and the Lakers and the Celtics are NBA brands and franchises that can survive the departures of absolute superstars. The Bulls obviously weren't that before Jordan, and they aren't that after Jordan. The Spurs aren't that after Duncan, although Wembanyama maybe gets them back to that point. My point is, Boston and LA are constants in the NBA. No matter who they will attract superstars because of their franchise history. So if I'm the Lakers, I don't want to panic here to mortgage more of the future for LeBron, but I also understand his value off the court.
No doubt. And listen, at the end of the day, you're probably better with LeBron than you are without him. I just think this isn't the NFL where you have 7 rounds. You have 2. And there are often times when your second round picks don't play a lick up in the bigs anyway. They play in the G League. I get that. Yeah. But are you willing to basically blow a second round pick on his kid to keep him? Maybe the answer is yes.
Yeah, because there aren't many second round picks that turn into much anyway. So you might kind of say, whatever, let's just do it. It's fun. But
then you have to keep him up. He needs a roster spot. The idea is not only do you have to draft him, you got to keep him up and he's got to play.
Yeah, for a week. Right.
If that's the negotiation, I'm sure LeBron isn't draft him. As long as I play for a week with him, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's how it's going to go.
All right. So we both say LeBron back to the Lakers. It's the most interesting offseason storyline going. Yeah. If it isn't LA, where is it for LeBron?
I don't know, because then you have to think about where he's teaming up with someone else.
You couldn't just put him in Dallas.
Nope.
Doncic and Kyrie both need the basketball. LeBron needs the basketball. It would have to be somewhere where he is the
Is New York that crazy?
Yeah, because I think Jalen plays with the ball too much.
Yeah.
I don't think it fits in New York. I really don't. This isn't a good comparison because it's going to be a free agency deal. It would feel like what the Knicks did to get Melo, and that was ultimately a failed experience.
Yep.
experiment. So it would feel like that again, where the Knicks are trending in the right direction, and now we're going to go get a guy that doesn't really fit what we're trying to do here.
But didn't the Knicks trade for Melo?
That's what I'm saying.
And gave away the farm for him. So if they can do it without giving away the pieces they currently have, it may be worth the risk.
Brian, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, he is the GM. He is the GM.
But again, at little risk other than the money.
Yeah.
And a second round draft pick.
Yeah. All right. While we're on it, let's, I feel like I've left Sam in suspense here.
It's time for the MVP of the month, sponsored by Marcella's Appliance Center.
Johnny Marcella and that great family-owned business headquartered in Schenectady. Great new store, expanded store in Clifton Park as well. Marcella's Appliance Center. Check them out for all of your, I'd say, appliance needs, but I mean, TVs, mini fridges, whatever you could possibly.
Those are all appliances, right?
Is a TV an appliance? Feels like the appliance is stuck in the laundry room or the kitchen.
Yeah.
Those are the only two places for an appliance. I don't know.
Probably true.
All right. It is not Jalen Brunson, only because, and I'll just say, the Knicks haven't moved on yet. So he's been great. And Jalen Brunson should finish top 3, I think, for the regular season MVP.
Was he not an MVP for us already, though? I believe he was.
Ooh, maybe. We're going with Anthony Edwards here because he led the Timberwolves to a sweep over the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, like what?
He is a superstar, and I don't even think it's that close, and he will still fly under the radar, quote unquote. And I know he has Karl Anthony Towns, and I know he has Gobert.
Been good for them.
But he's a star. He's likable. I think they hit it out of the park with him. He deserves it. I read something that said not only did he go in and take the trophy from Kevin Durant as the next up and coming thing. He kicked down Kevin Durant's door, stole it from his living room, and just walked out of his house. Basically, as in it wasn't even nice the way he did it. He came in and was like, nope, it's my time. I'm the next big thing. And he proved that he is the next big thing, because that's as underachieving as that Suns team may be. The T-Wolves have probably overachieved in a lot of ways compared to what people thought this season might shake out like.
Yeah, especially when you just consider their regular season. Let's get some of the other suggestions in here. Scotty Scheffler, I talked about last week, couple weeks ago, and my Dirty Difficult done was around Scotty Scheffler, where I said he's as difficult to beat as prime Tiger Woods. He's the closest thing that we've seen since prime. Now, he's not on that level. He's not on that level, but the guy is consistently good and at the top of the leaderboard. And then Mark says, how about Panarin and Shesterkin for the Rangers? Now, Panarin was an earlier season Marcella's MVP of the month as well. But obviously, the Rangers are on to the second round of the playoffs too. And, that doesn't get talked about enough here, the Rangers here. And I'll just say
you don't like
as a Devils fan, they went 40 on the number, 40 years since they had won a cup when they finally got it in 94. I think it was exactly 40 years. Mark will correct me if I'm wrong. That was 94. So now we're 30 years later. We're getting to the point again where we're saying, this Rangers team, hey, it's great that you make the postseason, but my goodness, win one of these things. Anyway, Edwards is a ton of fun. He is as athletic as it gets.
He is.
Look at what he did from three-point range in the 4-game sweep of Phoenix at 43%. 8 boards, 6. I mean, the guy does everything. And so it isn't just all flash. There's a ton of substance there as well.
Yep.
I'm with you. So they hit it out of the park with him. They sure did. Well,
he's awesome. And he came from a program that is not your blue blood. You know what I mean? It's not, he didn't say, I'm going to Kentucky because it's probably the only place you can win. He didn't win significant, he didn't win a national title in Georgia, but he made them a heck of a lot better. And he went and made a name for himself at a very good program, but he elevated it to the next level. And he's doing just fine for himself.
Yeah. It had been 54 years, right? 54. Okay, so we're not that close to that number now. I don't know why I thought it was 40 years, but yeah, 54 years. John Sterling could have been MVP of the month.
Could have been. No, you wouldn't send me lose some. We can still talk about him. That's the beauty of this show.
Yeah,
we can talk about whatever we want.
What a career! Braves broadcaster before moving up to New York.
I don't think I knew that.
The streak that
It's
he
crazy.
was in the broadcast booth.
It's crazy.
Number of consecutive games that he did home and away. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And listen, he's getting up there. Like, time to go enjoy life if you can.
Yeah, we did a radio interview with him years ago now. I mean, I bet 5-6 years ago. And he was 80, or I forget what, but yeah, it's
unreal.
Pretty impressive. All right, let's take another time out here on Onorato and Miller. Performance Industrial, Dirty Difficult, done to go. We're going to dive into the FireWolves in the National Lacrosse League semifinals. John Wagner, the defenseman who had 2 goals in that first round win, will join us coming up as well. We're back in a minute, everybody.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. Whether you're cruising with the family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhouseboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
I've always said that I generally don't pay attention to Major League Baseball standings until Memorial Day weekend or into the month of May. And so I peeked. I took a little peek. And what I saw surprised me on a number of different levels here. The Phillies, this is all on May 1st, okay? Wednesday, May 1st. Phillies were the first team to 20 wins. The Braves got to 20 on May 1st. And the Yankees and Orioles will play the night of May 1st. And the winner of that one will get to 20. 7 teams were at 19. And I thought, boy, it looks like a lot of these teams are over 500. So I counted them up, and it's only 16 of the 30. So it's not a lot, but everybody's feels like they're right
packed
there.
In there.
Astros have been the biggest disappointment at 10
and even they
19.
Feel like they're starting
They'd
to play
won
better.
3 in a row by the middle of the week. So Stros are the biggest disappointment for me. The Royals are the biggest surprise for me. 18 wins on May 1st.
And that's our local guy.
Coach Q.
Coach Q.
Quatrero.
Right, not Quatraro.
Right.
Quatrero.
Seth Lugo leads all Major League Baseball in wins pitching for the Royals. Like just a weird.
It's good stuff. I love when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
I like when the T-Wolves are good in the NBA. Like, listen, if my teams aren't going to be any good, which the Yankees are they're doing just fine. Yeah. But I love when random teams get hot and get better. I think that's fun. I like parity. Nobody likes the same team to win all the time. And like people would say, oh, the Yankees win all the time. The Yankees haven't won since 2009. It's been a long time for them too.
Right. They don't win all the time.
Nope.
And Judge has not started hitting yet this year. Soto's been as good as advertised so far. The Dodgers are one of the teams at 19 wins, and they've got Betts, Shohei, and Will Smith all well over 300.
Yep.
And Freddie Freeman's still one of the best hitters in all of baseball. So I think we're in for a fun summer of baseball here. That's once we get over the excitement of all the playoffs that are happening right now. Right? People go like, oh, you get into July and August, and all there is baseball. Yeah, but then we're only a month away from the NFL season. So it's all good.
It's not so bad.
We can handle that. Speaking of the postseason, the FireWolves have a best of 3 coming up against the San Diego Seals. John Wagner was an absolute stud in that first round win, 9-3 over Halifax, 2 goals and an assist, 10 loose balls as well.
2 goals and an assist. Those are forward-like numbers.
Correct.
For a defenseman.
Maybe John will tell us that he should be playing offense and not defense. We'll talk with the FireWolves defenseman midseason acquisition next right here on Onorato and Miller.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Using the highest quality materials, artisanal craftsmanship, and creative design, we're ready to help bring the vacation experience to your own home. With custom-designed Legacy Edition pools, we're confident we can turn your backyard into your own personal oasis, and we'll be by your side through the whole process. Get outside this summer with Alpenhaus. Be sure to visit our brand new 16,000 square foot showroom expansion on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And our guys at Novice, some of the on-field and on-bench supplier of FireWolves gear, a lot of fan gear, courtesy of Novice as well. They make great, great stuff there. Sam wants to know, Ash.
Not making the trip to San Diego, Sam. Unfortunately, the guys in the team are headed out tomorrow. It's a little bit of a big ask. We got the San Diego crew doing the San Diego game. When they come back here Sunday, I'll be on the call.
And it would be too much of a tease. San Diego is such a great city and great climate to only go for probably not even 24 hours.
About 24 hours. Yeah, that's rough.
Too much of a tease.
Yeah.
Let me put a little bit of a bow on our conversation about the baseball season here. Brian says 4th of July is when you start paying attention. Whoa. Yeah. That's a little
late in the season, but that's
month
okay.
Plus after I start paying attention. Yeah. Okay. But okay. I mean, look, we've seen plenty of teams be out of the playoff picture at the All-Star break and still come back to make the postseason. So, you just never really know. All right, our FireWolves segment here. John Wagner of the Albany FireWolves, mid-season acquisition, and getting a lot of attention on social media this week, pointing to this specific trade as to why Glenn Clark should be GM of the year.
Ooh, okay.
Stupid question. Let me just throw it out there anyway, because I do a lot of these. Has anybody won coach and GM of the year? Separate awards? Same season?
Time? I don't know. I mean, I imagine that's probably happened because you get the best team who, if you have a coach, some teams have separate coaches and GMs. Yep. Others have same coach, same GM. Yep. And that's the case for Glenn Clark and the Albany FireWolves. But I would imagine it's probably had to have happened.
Okay.
Don't ask questions you don't know the answer to.
One of the first broadcasting rules you're ever taught. All right, let's bring John into the conversation here on Onorato and Miller. Chris and Ash. John, it's good to be with you, man. Thanks for doing the show. First of all, congratulations on that first round win, man, and the performance you had. What inspired you out there on Sunday?
First playoff game, I guess. Adrenaline was certainly pumping, and the team kind of put us in a spot to succeed in that way. So it was a lot of emotion going into that game, and coming out with the win, certainly can't complain.
A lot of emotion on the field during that game too. I mean, I had been on the sidelines for a lot of the season, but I was in the stands that game. Ash was on the sidelines. I had never seen a game that physical, and we had talked a lot about opposing defenses trying to bully the undersized FireWolves offense, but that was, both ends of the floor, both sides of the ball, as physical as I remember all year.
Yeah, I think that's just playoff mentality, and you watch any of the other series, it's a pretty physical sport, but there's a lot of big boys on the Halifax back end too. So I know some of our rookies took a bit of a beating out there. I know Kurtzy had it pretty good with Tyson, and obviously Hasek can lay the lumber. So there was a couple guys that might be feeling it, but recovery week, and then back on the road tomorrow for San Diego on Friday.
John, do you take joy in trying to kind of rival the other side? So when you name guys like Hasek, who's just kind of an enforcer out there, do you guys say like, well, yeah, you can hit our guys, but we can hit your guys too? Like, this is how it works.
Yeah, I mean, people play in certain ways. I would like to say I'm not as much of a physical player in certain aspects as some of those guys, but like to push the floor a little bit more and transitions more so my style. And I might not be as physical, but try and put some points up and hopefully push the offense to get a couple more goals.
When the trade was made, yeah, no, I mean, I'm still stuck on only 3 goals allowed. We'll get to Dougie in a moment here. When the trade was made, Wags, can I call you Wags? The guys call
Absolutely.
you Wags.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah.
So when the trade was made mid-season here, the talk was, boy, the FireWolves are getting a really strong defenseman, but what he will bring in the transition game maybe will make all the difference. You've had your best offensive year. We talked about that in the tunnel before your first home game with this squad. Is something different this year for you, or do you feel like you're just more aggressive, more comfortable? Has anything changed?
I think it took some time. I know, New York and Rochester the first couple of years, being a younger guy in the league, you have a bit of a less of a green light. And then going over to Vegas with Sean Williams, he kind of just said, you know what, go do your thing. And so that, it lets you explore, your game a little bit more and get you a little more comfortable on the floor, playing both sides and running the ball up. And then, that was the big thing with Albany too. And Glenn kind of gave the green light, and it's kind of the style of play that we have, is just being athletic, running the floor and making lacrosse plays. So it kind of fits into, the style of play that I like. And he's been pretty comfortable in just saying, go do that.
Have you played attack or forward at any level prior to now?
I played attack in midfield in college at Marquette, so I wasn't on the defensive side at all. Yeah. And then I played U19 Team Canada, and I was on the defensive midfield side of things. So it's been kind of an array of stuff. And even growing up for indoor, it was all offense really until junior A, and then a year of senior. But that was pretty much it. So it's been a mixture of both.
Challenge of, look, you're not flying from Albany to San Diego, so I get that. But challenge of making this trip, you'll have to do the back end of it, right, from San Diego to Albany in order to play 2 games in 3 days. Can you give us a professional athlete perspective on what makes this difficult?
Yeah, I mean, the travel in itself is tough. I mean, we're going from basically the furthest east to the furthest west that we can get, 5.5, 6 hours on the plane. And then, you're out there Friday night, up early Saturday to have another long leg back to Albany. So, it's certainly tolling on the body, but, they got to do the same thing coming back for game 2. Nice thing is we're getting in early tomorrow. So we've got a full day of recovery and shoot around and practice. So it's tough, but you know what, all the guys in the league do it, and you become a bit of, kind of accustomed to it. And thankfully we've got some younger guys on the team that their bodies may not, feel that jet lag or travel as much as some other guys. So
Clarky said on our call, father time can be cruel. And that's why you hope that the advantage is a youthful team this late in the season. Maybe you guys still have some legs, which I guess that's the hope when you play a team like San Diego, who's a very veteran team who has a few older guys on their roster. But John, in terms of what they do, Albany didn't have you when you guys played the Seals back in January, and that was a 14-7 loss, and it wasn't a pretty game for Albany. What can you take away from that game? Have you seen film of it? And I guess what can you add to the defensive side when you're facing a team that has a million weapons in San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. It's game plan with Halifax is trying to eliminate early runs, and I think that was, even the 6-game stretch coming into playoffs for us, we just came out slow off the gate. And, it's a confidence thing. It's a momentum thing. So eliminating early runs and trying to keep them kind of contained, let Dougie get into his mindset and get, some of his confidence going. And, we saw that again against Halifax. He got into his groove, and I mean, it was a hell of a performance by him. So just, coming out strong out the gate, and there shouldn't be any problem coming into playoffs. You got some momentum going. So trying to, contain some of their guys a little earlier on and just, weathering the storm and then pushing it back to them and running the ball.
Dougie had 52 saves Sunday. Do you get an early sense that like either Dougie or any of the other goalies you've played with, like, oh, this guy's he's gonna be tough tonight?
I think, especially for goalies, it's one thing for players, but I think, goaltending is such a mental battle where, if you kind of give up some early shots that are easy and savable, you get them into that mindset that they're on the right track. I know talking to Dougie and even listening to his press conference after the game, he said that breakaway or the penalty shot was a nice kind of momentum boost for him. So getting into that mindset is certainly a big thing. And, for the offensive guys trying to get a few early ones, on their goaltender, on Origlieri, and, getting him off his game a little bit certainly would help.
I was going to say, he made the penalty shot save, and he also, early on, you guys gave up a few transition opportunities for Halifax, and he just was kind of like Dougie on one, and he made a few saves that I felt like early on it was like, okay, well, if he can do that now, you're going to be okay in 5-on-5 situations. But I'm not sure that people fully grasp, like, 3 goals in an NLL game is almost unheard of. Like, I can't remember in my 3 years in the league that I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I think someone gave me the stat. It was the only other time was 2 goals in 2012. And other than that, I mean, it's been a long time. So to have that kind of performance in playoffs is pretty nice for the team.
Unbelievable.
We almost had a fight in the stands too, which was kind of cool. Have you ever wanted to fight a fan?
Personally, no. I'm not much of a fighter, if you can't tell from the way I play. So I usually try and stay out of that kind of stuff.
I always think, like, what could they possibly say to you? Like, who is
you're
really
getting your butt kicked?
Yeah, I was gonna say, who is really caring what they're yelling about your mom or your sister or what? No. Like, all right, go get out of here. Like, this.
Yeah. I know emotions flare, and sometimes it gets the best of you. So no discredit to him. It's it's a playoff game, and especially for a guy that I think he came out of retirement for this year with Halifax. So to want to win a championship, it's just emotion kind of taking over.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, you get that.
Yeah, I think as physical as that game was, crazy. I mean, we had a moment where there were 3 FireWolves in the box at once. Halifax might have packed 3 in there at one point too.
I might have been in there with 3 of them.
I think you were. You're a big guy to try to get in there with everybody else. By the way, happy early birthday, man. John, you're going to celebrate birthday on Kentucky Derby Day, so you'll get the day off in between here is your birthday?
It is. Yep. I'm going to be on a flight. Yep. Back to Albany. So it's take off at 7 a.m. and land at 5 p.m. So it's quite the birthday.
Good research.
Will Clarky let you do anything fun for your birthday and the day off?
Maybe a piece of cake.
That's fair.
We'll see.
Hopefully it's a
semifinal. You're in the playoffs. It's the semifinals.
I get it. I'm not an athlete. I just talk about it.
Yeah, me neither.
John, good luck, man. Thanks for doing the show here on a short week. I know it's a big ask. We appreciate all the time you gave us, man. Safe travels. Go get them game 1, dude. We'll see you for game 2.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
That's Wags.
Wags.
You can call him that.
You're allowed.
Approval on the nickname.
Yeah, you can't. You got to be like, tight enough. Yeah. Not that you're tight with him, but like.
No.
You can't just call someone by their nickname.
Yeah. And these guys, I think people know by now, but these guys, most of them live out of market, we say. So they're not in the capital region. They have full-time day jobs.
Yeah.
And then they, are expected to be world-class athletes on the weekend.
Think about how tough this is. So not only it's a short week because you play on a Friday, it's a shorter week because they played on a Sunday. So unlike San Diego, who played on Saturday, the FireWolves have a Sunday night game. They fly out Monday, so they're off work Monday. You're back Tuesday, Wednesday, essentially. You have to find a job that's going to be good with all this because you're going to turn around. They're flying out tomorrow morning to practice tomorrow night. Yeah. Like, those are some very understanding jobs.
They are.
Or at least you hope.
Yeah, and I guess we're all better off now in a way with this virtual connectivity that maybe some of those jobs can be done from an airplane or hotel room.
Yeah.
You can help anyway. And jobs that also maybe, look the other way when you show up with a black eye or some bruises on your legs or arms. Okay. That was cool. Good to catch up with Wags ahead of the San Diego series, best of 3. One out there and one back in Albany, and then we'll see about game 3 after that. All right, we're back in 30 seconds on Onorato and Miller.
Get ready for the thrill of a lifetime with Tracker fishing boats, available at Albany House. Feel the rush as you reel in your trophy catch, supported by Tracker's unmatched stability. Prepare to conquer any challenge with cutting-edge tech at your fingertips and the freedom to explore without limits. Make waves this season and experience the ultimate fishing adventure with Tracker fishing boats at Albany House. Your source for fun since 1964.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House. And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Karen and Bill Miller have that great company, Performance Industrial, where there's never a job that's too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. I mean, we're talking about industrial kitchen cleaning, floor epoxy.
Too difficult for me. Too dirty for me. But
me too.
Not for them.
Yeah, me too. I spent some time
cleaning.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, there are so many industries that I just am not cut out for. I've always said, and you have been able to make. I don't think I'm qualified.
This is not true, but
or equipped to do anything else in my life.
You are, because you're a very good writer, which makes you qualified to do a lot of things in your life.
Okay, we'll see about that. All right.
You want to know something? My current boss, Kathy Skeels, who is the superintendent of North Colony, said her greatest attribute and her greatest skill that has helped her to get to where she is in life is the ability to write quickly and write well.
I like that. Quickly and well.
You can do that.
Yeah. Maybe not quickly, but all right, Ash, you're Triple D.
Triple D. So I'm really disappointed in myself that I couldn't find it in me to get a dirty difficult.
Somebody dumb out there.
I know, but I didn't have the time, and it was shortchanged. I couldn't come up with something creative enough, so I went back to the old standby. So we're dirty difficult done, at least for this week. Difficult to see Mike Trout on the IL again. He is one of baseball's biggest stars. And listen, it's difficult enough to see him play for the Angels. It's more difficult to see him not play for the Angels because of injury. I've got a number here, and including Anthony Rendon doesn't help the cause because he's a total disaster. Yeah. But this stat is pretty amazing. Rendon and Trout combined played in 385 of a possible 972 games from 21 to 23.
So a third of the games.
A third of the games, and they made $208 million almost combined.
So more than a third of the games, almost a quarter of the games. Yeah. Boy.
And made a whole lot of money. Calf strain in 21.
So almost 40% of the games. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Math. It's not our strong suit. It's okay. Calf strain in 21. Back injury 22. Broken hand 23. Torn meniscus 24. Like, it's been a rough go, but Father Time is cruel. Glenn Clark knows.
How will this is leading me to my question. How will we? Trout is 30. He's only 32. Is that right, Mike Trout? 32 years old.
Yes, 32.
So I'll say 10 years from now, but maybe it needs to be 20 years from now.
How
will we remember Mike Trout?
It's a good question, because he might never win a title with the contract that he has going.
He's never going to win a title.
And the injuries that he has going, unless he gets traded or asks for a trade. We will remember him as one of the greatest, most unique I think unique from a build standpoint, from a center field build. Like, he looks like a linebacker out there playing center field.
Yeah.
He looks like he's swinging a toothpick.
Yeah,
From that perspective, he may be one of the most unique players in the way that he does it, of certainly our generation, but maybe ever one of the most unique players ever. And maybe the most talented player, or one of the most talented players to never win a World Series when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have. I wasn't thinking it from that perspective, but you're right. You would put him in with, baseball is difficult because you get so many of the guys, but you would put him in there with Bonds and Griffey for guys who are supremely talented to never win a World Series. Position players we're talking here. Great. Yeah, I'm thinking in 20 years, I'll say to people, what an incredible talent. And the numbers he put up and the plays he made that would be number one on Sports Center, and
like
he could
climbing
steal
walls,
bases and play great defense and hit for power and hit for average and won multiple MVPs. And so far it's been one postseason appearance. And I'm not going to label him as somebody who isn't a winner, but I think I will then in the same breath say couldn't stay healthy.
Right. Couldn't stay healthy is totally different. So for me, there's something to be said, especially in baseball. You can't be a LeBron and carry someone with two superstars or even three superstars to a World Series. You need so much more than that. You need pitching. There's so much more that goes into it in baseball. Yes, the injuries are a huge one. But for me, it's like, I'm not going to judge him because he didn't win. I can really appreciate the loyalty he's shown so far, because there isn't a lot of that. What's your problem?
Go ahead.
There isn't a lot of that in sports in general. And maybe it's dumb, but he signed a huge contract with a bad team because he wanted to be loyal and he wanted to get his money, and he did. But that might mean he never wins. It doesn't mean he's not a winner.
Yeah, and he didn't sign that contract simply to get his money. He was going to get that money in Philadelphia if he went there. Dirty, difficult, dumb to stay with the Angels is what that is.
That would have been months ago.
And so
years ago.
I hate to, and the Angels have tried. It's not like, well, we didn't do anything for they tried. Anthony Rendon was coming off a great World Series with the Nationals. Contract. And they obviously made the big play for Shohei Ohtani internationally. They've done things. CJ Wilson was a free agent. I mean, they've tried. They just haven't done the right things. And that's not easy, it's hard to do.
Brian says he's still a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
no doubt. If he stopped playing today, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
We could do a half hour on Mike Trout. That's good. It is tough to see him back on the IL, but it's pretty much expected.
It's tough to see him in LA too, or in Anaheim technically. But yeah, it's tough to see him there because he's a wasted talent there.
Difficult to knock out Timberwolves coach Chris Finch. Mike Conley tried.
We could show video of this.
Friendly fire as he went tumbling into his head coach, and Finch tore his patellar tendon. Is that right?
Patellar, yep.
So he had surgery on that. That was in Game 4 of what was a sweep over the Suns for Minnesota. So he was present for that game, and he's going to travel with the team to Denver for Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. They just have to figure out if they can make enough space for him on the bench.
Dude's a warrior.
Where he won't get injured again. Or be in the way.
Right. He can't be sticking his leg, because it's going to be braced. He can't be sticking his leg out and having people run into him. He might have to sit in the second row and put him up on the chairs and just direct the court.
Could go Hugh Freeze where he's up in the box. That's not enough. Effective.
Yeah, not enough in basketball.
He'll be on the sideline in some capacity. I have to imagine.
I think so too.
So good for him. This is a fun thing to just kind of pay attention to, and Minnesota will certainly rally around it. I have no doubt about that.
Is that guy going to be the coach of the year?
Maybe.
Tibbs could be the coach of the year.
Yeah, I mean, look what the Thunder done.
Yeah, I know. Presti won GM of the year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are quite a few, but he should be right up there in the conversation.
No doubt. Yeah, crazy. I didn't see it live, saw it on replay after you showed me, but Yeah. Rockman's on the Knicks here, the Knox, but he means the Knicks.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back here on Onorato and Miller, we'll wrap up the show here. And I want to get into a little bit of that Knicks-Sixers series. Sam has a fun thought on Joel Embiid, which I can't believe we've gone this long without really talking about Joel Embiid. Back right after this.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Play to win a 2024 Chevy Camaro convertible through June 29th. Celebrate 20 years of good times at Saratoga Casino Hotel. Learn more at saratogacasino.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
Okay, Ash. Wednesday night, and the Knicks might have this thing wrapped up one way or the other by the time we're on TV over the weekend. But let's just look back at Game 5. Either one more free throw or fouling up 3 probably guarantees the Knicks a spot in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Now they've got to go to Philly for Game 6. May not win that one. In fact, I would pick the Sixers there, and then you're back to the Garden Game 7. It's getting interesting.
Gonna get dicey. Sam's right. I forgot Daignault won the.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, right. Already done.
He did.
Okay, so Sam had his own dirty here, and that was Embiid.
I like when our fans play the game.
He did it again Tuesday night. He's so whacked dirty. Brunson on the top of the head as Brunson was going to the hoop.
But grabbing the leg of someone jumping while you're on the floor is so bad. Yeah. It's as dirty as it gets because it's so obvious. Like, at least whacking somebody on the head is a basketball play because you could say you're swinging at the ball.
Yeah, yep, no doubt. Sam says Knicks will win Thursday night. Okay. Pick for the Philly game? Yeah, Philly? Is this thing going back to the Garden?
No. You say yes, I say no. I just like to be different.
Tyrese Maxey was also in the running for Marcella's MVP of the month.
Good one.
He's had a couple of monster games in that series.
There have been some fun.
Whoa, say it. I want to hear this. Go ahead, say it.
Standout performances from NBA players in the playoffs. Why?
I knew a compliment for the NBA was coming. I just wanted to hear it.
I don't dislike the NBA. I just don't watch a lot of it.
Okay.
I like the playoffs.
Playoffs are great.
I don't like the regular season because nobody plays defense. That's my biggest problem. They play defense in the playoffs. Okay, I'll watch.
Yep. Do we have a derby pick? Chad Brown has the second choice on the morning line with Sierra Leone. Todd Pletcher has Fierceness. It's the 5-2 favorite.
I couldn't have named you a single horse that's running in the Derby. Sierra Leone, I do know, but only because.
Does that say more about you or more about the Derby this year?
Ooh, probably more about me.
Oh, okay.
And my disconnect.
Not a lot of juice around the Derby, though, this year.
I know, but we got to get fired up because we have the Belmont here.
6 weeks.
It's exciting.
In 6 weeks, we'll have it. Yeah. Well, we have a Triple Crown on the line. That's what people want to know. We'll see. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching Onorato and Miller.